The main objective of this script is to use attended bot in a manner that it can be scheduled. So the attended bot script is basically divided into two parts. The first one being the main script or the main scheduler framework that drives the other subscripts. It follows the standard RE framework practices, just with minor changes. For example, our configuration file is a JSON file, and there is an Excel configuration file that basically serves the business. So it would be easy for them to change parameters as per their requirement. Talking about the main framework, the init state of the framework is responsible to initialize the configuration setting that drives the whole of the scheduler in the init all settings state. We do not have init all applications workflow for the main scheduler script. We do a few workflows that would help set up the environment, like killing all the applications, cleaning the temp files, and initiating nosleep.exe. The reason why I want to initiate nosleep is to avoid the screen going into a screensaver mode. After that, I am creating the queue items from a config Excel file. This is the business configuration file in Excel format, which I would open up for reference. For testing purpose and for packaging purpose, I've kept most of my data in most of my Excel configuration files, input files in the data folder, which could be any other place as well. So going forward, the data folder has the business config file that's in Excel. The JSON file is for the script. So here I provide few details. For example, the process name, that's the location of the main XAML file for all our subscripts. It's mandatory to keep our subscripts in the data folder of the main scheduler framework. Then I also provide the path of init settings along with the config path. This config path is the JSON config path. Schedule hours, minutes, which day it has to run, and whether it has to run at all or not. So rather than deleting any entry, you can just write no or yes for you to run the job. So the bot reads this Excel config file and uploads these details into a queue, which is done in the init state again. The other state is the get transaction data state, which gets the subscripts one by one. In my process transaction state, I have a workflow that is invoked based on the queue item. That's the part of the subscript. The queue item contains the location of the main XAML of the subscript that has to be initiated first. Along with that, there are a few arguments that you need to pass in all these invoke workflow. This invoke workflow is the init settings path, the JSON path. This JSON path is the config.json file of the subscripts, and the end time. So the end time is also the part of the queue item. The main script basically calculates what exact time, after what time the bot should stop running that subscript. So suppose if you give 2 hours 5 minutes, so it adds up 2 hours 5 minutes in the current system date and time and gives you the end time, idle end time for the subscript. This is all about the main scheduler file.